What's up, y'all? It's Shuffle, and today's video is reviewing the Darkest Dungeon 2 patch. I did a patch notes reading of it when it dropped, but we're going to talk about the patch and how I feel about it after playing it. So, yeah, we're going to have the patch notes. I have a couple of things to look at too, just to show you and all that. I'm not going to read the entire thing of the patch notes, but I do need to cover some of the good bits and pieces. So Creature Den, that's the new stuff. Hero Paths is probably the best part of the patch. It is really fun. So like, you get new enemies and rewards, and that's cool, but the Hero Paths really changed the game, so we're gonna talk about those later. The Oasis change is nice. The new monsters are cool. Like I said, the academic view looks nice, and then the combo change was cool. This really fixes one of the issues the game has, where you're really starved for mastery at the start, and a lot of fun synergy, especially combo synergy, usually required 2 points to get going. You needed the first point to upgrade the skill to apply combo, and then you had to upgrade the other skill that could use the combo, and they've lowered that barrier. So the pressure for starting mastery isn't as high, but it's still important, and I hope they change it later. But between this and Paths, that really does help it a bit. So out of all of these changes that have happened, let's see. The Hellion changes, really these just don't measure up to Howling End, which escaped nerf another time. The Jester stuff is cool. The rest of these are pretty interesting. So the block stack limit up to 3, that's a good change. And Ghoul having block instead of dodge is really good too. So besides that, the other change they hot fixed, which I don't think is here, but they made it so Sluice enemies don't drop Tangle rewards, which kind of sucks because there were a lot of times I would get the extra action trinket, the Tangle version, which is the redoubt, the shield thing. I would get it in the Sluice, and I can't do that anymore. So we're gonna look at Paths in a sec. So here's my Twitch stream, and we're going to look at some of the stuff that happened, just a couple minutes worth. So this is the academic view, so you can actually see the moves under my camera, which I just realized is in a bad spot for this. And their stats, obviously. Apparently this has always been in the game, but they made it better, but I didn't know of it. So here's the Creature Den. This is a dog that you fight. So I'm talking about it. I hope I get out of the screen in a sec, yeah. So this is going in. We've killed a couple of these. You're supposed to fight 2 waves of the creature stuff, and these are actually somewhat challenging. I died in one of these. Like, I lost a run here. It might have been this one, I'm not sure, but like they are threatening, so that's cool. And the rewards so far are really fun. Like, you get an item that when you make it to the inn, you get stuff just for getting there. So it'll be like, it'll cure diseases off your entire team, which is fantastic. You'll get mastery. Like, that's just one of them. You get mastery and cure disease, or you get mastery and heal stress. So I think there's one other one too that I can't remember. So these are fun, and they're worth doing, and they're not, like I said, I died on one of them, but they're not as challenging as like Deacon or a Lair, but they're a bit more challenging than the regular monsters. So I feel like it kind of hits the spot that it should. And when you fight the second wave, there's no proceed or escape. It just happens. So you kill all the monsters, and then the next wave just drops in immediately. So all your buffs and debuffs are staying. So you really have to be aware of when you're going to push the encounter a bit further, and make sure you're not in like a horrible spot when it happens. But the dogs get a lot of dodge, the spiders get dodge. And then there are worms. Like, there's a big worm like Carrion Devour or something like that has a move called Pulverize, which puts, I think, like weaken and vuln on you. It hurts. So also, here's the path icon. If someone has a special one, it appears like this, and it's really cool. I didn't think they'd have graphics for this, but it's a nice change. So this is the start of the Creature Den. Also, this is a different way of showing the heroes. Now they don't have like the diamond thing anymore. They have this line, so they're all the same size, and it's weird at first, but it works. Like, it's actually good. So do I just... So here's the champion dog. It's just a bit stronger than the other ones, and I think it has a couple moves too that the other ones don't. I think it has 4 moves. So, but the animations on this are really good. Like, they fall over, they make sad sounds. and stuff like that. So they did a great job with new content. I was expecting it to be a little more bare bones than it was, but it's actually not. So that's good. I'm gonna make sure I'm actually recording. Yeah, okay. So I don't, you know, ruin what I'm doing here. Yeah, they can pull you, they can bleed you, they can hit you with a disease, but I don't know what it is. I'm assuming it's rabies. Oh yeah. So this dog is kind of like a commander dog. Look at this, it gets block and stuff. Man, can I get the second wave? Is there only one wave? I've had this glitch out where I kill one wave and then nothing else comes after it. But I've also fought like the big worm and stuff like that. So I'm gonna see if I can find. Actually, I have one more thing queued up. So, oh no, I know what it is up there. So I don't know if I actually have the. So here's the other stuff. These are, I think these are the big worms, the carrion devourers. They're just a little bit bigger than the regular ones. And here are the spiders. So there are the same as Darkest Dungeon 1 spiders. You have the setup spider, which can stun and combo you or whatever. And then the other one can spit and bite you. Or spit on you and bite you. And this thing has a move called Pulverize, which is, like I said, very dangerous. But, yeah. So, oh wait, hold up. This is round 5. Can I go back a little bit? Let's see. Harvest doing stuff. Guess really nothing's happening here, but, you know, just so you can see it. So they look great. They're some of the best designed enemies in the game. Just in terms of look, I think Drummer's still the best looking enemy in the entire game, but these look great. Like, just the way they act, their balance seems pretty good so far, and they're fun. And the rewards are worth it. You know, you get mastery, which is the biggest thing of player power possible. So these are worth doing, and that's good. So I would actively look for these when I'm playing. And then the other person that comes back is Skyver. So a lot of people know Skyver from DD1. This dude was a jerk. Hit way too hard on like a team cleave. It had a stun, and it was pretty tanky for what it was. Like, it's a backline unit that has more HP than pretty much anything else that you end up fighting. And it's fast, has a little bit of prod, it's dodgy and all that. So it was a very tough enemy. This time, defensively, it doesn't seem as difficult, but it's still threatening. But the other thing too is Skyver still loses to what it did in the first game. For those of you not aware, the best way to beat Skyver was either marking it and killing it, which is a bit harder in this game because there's not as much reach damage besides like burning stars. So that's one thing, but Skyver lost to movement. So if you ever got Skyver up front, it would spam Goring Flight and it would move backwards to, like, you know, get to the back to throw javelins at you. So if you kill the other things first and pull it up, it's usually pretty harmless. Or if you have something like Daemon's Pull to just yank it up to the front too, then that's harmless as well, or makes it more harmless as well. So it's really cool seeing Skyver come back. I'm glad that the Sluice is getting more enemies, because the Sluice is interesting. It's a bonus region. It doesn't count towards your completion of the game. So having this get more fleshed out is a good thing. Like, people say they want it to be a full zone, which would be interesting, but then it's supposed to be a bonus zone. So I actually kind of like where it's at right now. And it just needs a few more enemies. Like, if it gets like 2 or 3 more enemies, I think it'll be in a good spot, at least for right now. So it's good. It's cool. And Skyver is still a jerk, but I don't think it's as hard as the first game. You know, hear me now, quote me later, or whatever. But yeah, so see Goring Flight, I'm just chilling. So let's get into the actual game here. Gotta do some swap-a-roni with software. There you go. So when you're picking your characters and you're getting your quirks and stuff like that and you're building your team, your path is up here. So there's Wanderer, which gives no bonuses. There's like Apprentice, which gives 1 mastery. There's something rare called Master, which gives all your skills mastered, which might be too powerful, if I can be quite honest. I've only seen it once. It's supposed to be very rare, and I lost that run, but you know, that was on me. But when you look at your paths, you get to see the bonuses you get, and they might complement the way that you normally play. Like, if you play just backline, Plague Doctor, you know, spamming blight attacks and stuff, then Alchemist is probably pretty good. You lose a lot of HP, which this does matter, a lot of these have minus HP just in general, which is kind of dangerous. But you get Blight Chance and then a bunch of resists. So this is like, for some people, it probably won't change how they play. They're just like, okay, this is how I play Plague Doctor anyway. But there's some paths that you can get that will fundamentally change how you approach the character, and that is pretty cool. So the other one that Plague Doctor has is called Surgeon, where it buffs her melee damage for Incision. So this is her only melee ability, I believe, because Cause of Death is it's dependent on dot damage. So it buffs Incision and does a couple other things I can't remember off the top of my head. So you may never play Incision Plague Doctor, but if you get Surgeon, all of a sudden you're like, well, okay, so I want to spam this every turn. So what am I going to do instead? Okay, I'm going to keep the heal, probably get rid of Ounce, still run Science, and then like maybe keep Blinding Gas and a buff, right? Just that kind of thought process is new, and it's not something you just go, well, I want to do something different. It's like the game incentivizing you to do it, which I think was really smart. So whoever came up with paths and like said this is how we're going to do it, and then they got to work on it, deserves a lot of credit. I think it's a very smart thing to do, and I did not expect it personally. So here's Wanderer. Like I said, nothing. You get a lot of Wanderers when you're playing, which kind of sucks, because like there's this idea that potentially the paths can lead to this like power creep type of thing, where when you see Wanderer, you're just not going to pick the character. And I don't think that's going to be as much of an issue later on, because sometimes you're going to like find a really cool path and then it's like, well, I want this character to make it work even though they're a Wanderer. But it is fun to play with the paths right now. So I got a lot of Wanderers this time. Here we go. So Soloist, I used this one before too. So if you want to do just Damage Jester like turn 1 Finale or Bleed Spam, I think this is a better Bleed Spam build than Finale build personally, but it's still good. There's this. I forget what other path Jester has. So Poet, this is like Tank Leper. You lose damage, you get a bunch of healing bonuses to your self heals. So Solemnity and Reflection both go up, I believe. And then you get Stun Resist, which I think diseases can still stun you randomly, just because that's how they work, but that's what people are saying in Discord. And we got Wanderer again. So we didn't see some of the fun ones here, but the way paths are, in terms of what they do for replayability and giving you more reasons to try stuff, I think was really smart, and it's really fun. And going forward, it'll be fun to see what they add in terms of paths, like what skills they choose to boost, what characters get what. You know, like Runaway gets burn damage, or she gets one that boosts her healing, so that really changes what approach you're going to take to the character. And it's smart. It's good. It's a good start. So the previous patches were admittedly lacking in terms of what they had. We had, you know, a little bit of content, some buffs, some nerfs, stuff like that, you know, the Crush nerf that we meme about to this day. But this is the first time the game really felt like it got some love since the first patch, or since the drop, since October. So it's good. I think the game is in a better spot than it was. The December patch did kind of suck after, you know, a little bit, and now the game has a really good feel. Like, it's a fun patch. There are a lot of benefits. It still didn't fix some of the issues like relationships and stress and stuff like that, but considering how well this patch feels, or how good this patch feels right now, I think that it's enough to like give hope, you know. Not that you shouldn't have had hope or it's doom and gloom and stuff like that, but there are a lot of people that kind of like wrote the game off after some stuff happened, like after the first couple patches and where the game was at. And I think this is a big step in the right direction. So if we get more stuff that makes the game as fun as this is right now, because this, you know, this will get stale after a little bit when we don't have more chapters and biomes and stuff like that, but it's a good start. I know Jared talked about this in his video, which is a great video too, you should watch. This is a good start. It, like I said, it'll get more fun when you add more heroes and stuff like that too, because I want to see what heroes they add, and then also what paths they get. So it, like, as common as Wanderer seems like it is, this probably won't be the norm going forward. Like, you'll probably, you know, if we get to like 14, 15 characters at some point, Everyone has like 3 paths. You're gonna just see a bunch of variety and a bunch of crazy stuff you can do. So it's a great start. And if you were like many people where you played the game for a bit, probably dropped off after the first patch, if you're looking to get back into it and check something out, at least for a couple runs, then this is probably a good point to do it. Or, you know, wait till the next patch, because that's supposed to be the next chapter, I believe. So the next chapter and the next region. But otherwise, good stuff. Can't wait to see more of it. Good patch. It's fun, offers replayability. The monsters are cool, well animated and stuff like that. So just great, top to bottom. Really good, good patch, good step in the right direction. So that's it for the patch review here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.